Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's video unpacking the draft of the Johto division for the VGC High Roller Draft League. Today we're going to be covering the Kanto division, which is the division I am playing in, and the one that I know a little bit more about because I was there for the draft, and I'm also going to be, I've been preparing for some of this. So I'm excited to talk about it. This is also going to be coming out after I play my first match, so I haven't actually played it yet, but yeah, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about my opponent this week than I would have otherwise been able to. So, starting things off, we get Michael, WD Michael, and this is a weird one. He actually no-showed. He showed up late. So, he did not get a pick for round 1. He got skipped. He had to pick it at the end, which is why we see Quagsire up here. So, for the top 10 worst picks, I'm not going to be judging Quagsire's first pick because that's not when it actually went. But if we look at his team, I don't think it's very good, honestly. Jin did one of these videos, or he did it on stream, and he was like talking up poor Easy Clefairy so much. I really don't think it's that good. Now, he does have some memes here. He's got like things like he has the option to run like Talonflame with Tailwind and Regidrago with Dragon Energy. That's a thing he can do. Alola Persia's Persian's just a good pick. But there isn't a lot that works together here. I don't love this team. We're going to kick things off with a nice, solid C tier. We jump into Jin's team, which I think is actually pretty fucking nutty. He drafted Instant Regieleki as a starting 2, which is wild to me that Regieleki went this late. But because it's a snake draft, this was the second last pick in round 2. So wild that Jin picked up Regieleki there. Instant as first pick makes total sense. Now, Gyarados, Durant come in. Really good. Durant with Gothorita, super good. The first 5 picks on this team are fucking nuts. They're so good. Then we have Jin being really excited about Kommo-o. I don't really get that. I'm not aboard the Kommo-o train. I don't think it's going to be that good. It might be okay. Sandaconda doesn't really help anything on this team, so he's also really hype about it. So I think there's something he's planning on doing with it that I'm not really sure about, but I don't think it's that good. Then we get back on track with Registeel, pretty good. Conkeldur's really good this late, but Blacephalon and Aromatisse kind of aren't. But at the core of Jin's team, we have this 5, which are just unreal. Unreal. More than half of this team is just insane when you include Registeel. So Jin is going to get a low S tier pick for me. Peninsula Cat comes in strong with the Torkoal pick and then gets kind of fucked up by the fact that Colding Light drafted Venusaur and Borgie right before it was his turn again drafted Charizard. Torkoal is left without a friend. And, I mean, he did pick up Lilligant later on, which is not bad either. But at that point, this team kind of fell apart very early on. Nihilego doesn't really fit in with anything. Lipard's not great on this team. It's a good prankster, I guess, but, like, for what? Ferrothorn doesn't fit this team either. Thunditherian, like, okay, I guess. Boltund is a bad pick. I talked about this during the draft a little bit. I don't think... Like, it gets fast Charm and Eerie Impulse, but it also just dies to anything, even after the -2. Lilligant is like the saving grace for the first 7 picks. Slowbro, Fungus, Kingler, Heliolisk. I don't know which Slowbro this is. If it's Galarian Slowbro, that's really good. It's not. It is Cantonian Slowbro, so that's bad. Fungus is bad, Kingler is bad, Heliolisk is bad. No disrespect to Peninsula Cat, I think they went in with a plan, and as soon as both Venusaur and Charizard were gone, the plan was gone. That's what it looks like to me. I don't think this team works on any level, honestly. Gets a D tier from me, but maybe Peninsula Cat is able to prove me wrong. This is the one that I'm... Oh, God, this is such a weird one for me. Borgie comes in at number 4. Borgie is a very good player. Friend of mine, good player. And he's relatively excited with his draft, according to his own Twitter. I look at this draft and I think, what does this do? I don't see any... Like, this is not a good draft, in my opinion. Like, what I see when I look at this is a bunch of half-complete things that kind of work together but aren't quite cores. So, like, I think he drafted Charizard as a counter pick to Torkoal. And it works with Grimmsnarl, right? Because you have fake tears on Grimmsnarl. You have, like, Scary Face if you need it to outspeed. But there's no Sunsetter. So Charizard is just, by definition, much worse than it would have been because there's no Sunsetter. Okay, that's a problem. Then he switches gears completely and goes into Trick Room with Rhyperior Bronzong. It's like, all right, you got Rhyperior. And then you have Bronzong, which is able to set Trick Room. Okay. but then there's nothing else that really benefits from it. Like, the only other Trick Room Pokemon here is like Cress. Like, I don't understand this at all. Goodra is okay in a vacuum. I think Shedinja's really bad. Roserade can spam Sleep. That's nice. Like, is there something on this team that learns Sunny Day? Like, does Roserade learn Sunny Day? Okay, Roserade learns Sunny Day, so I guess he could use it as a Sunsetter, but like, oh my god, I don't think this is a good draft. And I'm hoping that Borgie proves me wrong, but even then we get into like things like Seeking, where it's like, Seeking exists to be a Lightning Rod Pokemon. A, you already have a Lightning Rod Pokemon, and B, you only have one thing that's weak to Electric. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm thinking that Borgie might be able to prove me wrong, and he's a good enough player to pilot this to some wins. But yeah, I mean, I look at this, because there are some things that work together, like we have the pairing here, this pairing, like there's some things that do work. Like, it doesn't go to like the D tier or anything, but I'm gonna put this below Michael, honestly, and like, please prove me wrong, Nick. Like, this is not an attack on Borgie. I just don't think this is a good draft. And maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Easy Parisi comes in with the Regigigas Weezing, which is a wildly good start. Rotom Wash joins the fray as well, which is really, really good. On top of that, we have some other great memes here. Comfy Hawlucha, really good for Unburdened Weakness Policy. You can also Weakness Policy the Latios if you really want to with that Comfy. Torracat's a really decent Intimidator. Drake is also just a good all-around Pokemon. Jinx is a really good Fake-Outer. Hippowdon doesn't really do much for me here. I don't really understand the Hippowdon pick, really. But I guess for Weather Wars against, like, Hard Sun teams. This might have been a counter pick to, like, Colding Light, right? Because, like, Colding is running Hard Sun as one of his options. Darmanitan. It's not Galarian Darmanitan. I don't know if I like normal Darmanitan. But this is a really good team, dude. Easy Parisi has some scary shit here. It's all stuff that can be dealt with. Like, if you have an answer on your team, you can deal with it pretty easily. So, like, Regigigas Weezing, it was picked so early that everyone should have an answer for it. So, like, it's not going to put it up to S or anything. Like, Rotom Wash is just a good all-arounder. There are other cool things he can do, but this is going to be an A tier for me. Gerardo comes in with the Metagross pick. I like it. I think it's a really early pick, but I think Metagross is going to be really good in the Draft League format. Togekiss comes in second, also a good pick. Entei, Hydreigon, Crobat, Inteleon, Articuno, Naganadel, Braviary, Meowstic, and Rotom-Mow. And what I am going to say, I'm not going to spoil yet, one of these Pokemon is on my top 10 worst drafts. Pretty low, but it is on my top 10 worst drafts for this division. It's like, it's a team that has answers, right? Like, Entei's a good answer to physical threats with Sacred Fire. Metagross is just a good all-around offensive threat. Togekiss is your good redirection. Hydreigon can use really fast Snarl or play offensively. Crobat gives you Tailwind. Articuno also gives you Tailwind or potentially Ice Shard on Togekiss for weakness policy. There are ways to play this team, but it doesn't do anything super well. It also isn't, like, the best all-around team. Like, it's kind of, it's like it's not quite sure what it's trying to do, but it's decent. I think Gerardo has a decent draft here. We're going to start him off at the top of B tier. Quality comes in really hot with the Dragapult Colossal combo and Cobalion to round it out. That's an insane start. You get the Surf weakness policy with Colossal slash Dragapult. You get Dragapult running Beat Up for Cobalion. Amazing stuff. So, already off to a stormer there. Then we get the option for him to run Indeedee Male for Terrain and another offensive threat with Clefable for Redirect. Great start for Quality. Then things get a little weird. Frostlass Crocodile is like he's playing. This is another hyper offensive mode, right? Where he can go Ice Breath with Anger Point, but like I don't know if Crocodile's fast enough to make that work. And then like yeah, it gets Intimidate, so I like the Crocodile pick. I don't know if I like the Frostlass pick. I don't think it's bad, though. It gets Wisp. It's fast. Not bad for a tier 4. Azumarill is okay. I think it's a weird round 8 pick. Like, you should have gone for something a little bit better. Raichu is a little weird as well, right? Like, Raichu is I talked about this in the last video. Raichu's a situational Pokemon. I don't know what Lightning Rod gets you here at this point in the draft. Like, you're protecting Azumarill, I guess, but, like, do you care? And then, like, at the end of the day, it also protects Drifblim, but I think Drifblim is a much better draft here than Raichu. Tangela, though, really, really good redirect. but he also already has Clefable, so I don't really know if he needs that Tangela. So things kind of fall apart in the second half here for Koala T, in my opinion. But it's still a very, very good team. I actually think this is better than Easy Parisis. We get into my team next. I have a whole video breaking down how my team works. Check it out. Yeah, I think it's really good. I'm biased, obviously. I think it's an S tier team. I think it's on par with Jin Fury's team. Is it better than Jin Fury's team? We'll find out in week 5. For today, though, I'm gonna put my draft up here. And I'm gonna put the disclaimer here that this is not how good I think the players are or how well I think they will do in the league. This is purely based on the draft. I do not think I am the third best Pokemon in this division, or third best Pokemon player in this division normally. There are some very good players in this division. But, it's like, this is, based on the draft. Sierra Dawn comes in with a strong Tapu Fini opener. Garchomp, Corviknight. I'm always a fan of Corviknight. Top Moth. She's playing very similarly to Joe, which makes sense because they were drafting together, I imagine. Tangrowth, Malamar, Tapu Koko, Vanillux, Porygon. Porygon 1? Huh. I don't like that pick. Alright, Xurkitree. I don't hate Xurkitree. I don't love it either. For a tier 1 Pokemon or a tier 2 Pokemon, I don't know about that. But overall, this is a good team. I think it's a really good team. Or like a pretty good team. It's gonna come down to how well she pilots it. She has some really cool options with like Top Moth. It's a little bit more offensive than Joe's, I think. But like with the Xurkitree. But like the Porygon pick's really weird. I don't like. It's a Trick Room user, but like for what? There's nothing on this team that really wants Trick Room. I don't get the Porygon pick very much, but we'll see how she does. I'm sure she'll be able to put together some good teams with this. Corviknight's always nice to have. We'll put her at the bottom of A tier, I guess. Do I like her team better than Gerardo's? No, I actually don't. B tier. I love that this is the team that Triggered drafted because I love that the guy who got Chansey Shuckle is named Triggered. I just find that funny. That being said, I don't think that everyone is putting this team at like S tier, and by everyone I mean Jin, because he's the only one who I think has done an actual thing like this. But I don't think it's that good. It does rain really well, and it does nothing else. That's the problem, right? Like, yeah, you have like rain, guy that benefits from rain, 2 swift swimmers, guy that's like weakness is removed because of rain, guy that can hit thunder 100% because of rain. And then nothing else on the entire team. Like, if you run into a team that has an answer to rain, you just lose. So, like, I don't think this is a great team. But, like, the fact that it can do rain so well will win it some games. So, I feel like this team has to be given a little bit of respect. I do think Shuckle Chansey is garbage. I think there's no reason to lose to Shuckle Chansey when you have 11 Pokemon to pick from in preparation. But the fact that he forces everyone to actually have an answer to it on their team is a little bit nice, I guess. Not worth 2 slots on your roster, though. Cottony's bad. It doesn't get Tailwind anymore. Gothitell's really good. Gothitelle is the only Pokemon from, like, the non-rain Pokemon that I think is good. I think everything else is garbage. That being said, this thing does rain so well that we're going to put it at the top of B tier. BC0 comes in with the Indeedee F and Hatterene opening. That's a strong opening as well. Araquanid is also good. I talked about that a little bit in the last video, why Araquanid is strong. Bisharp. Pheromosa is really nice when you think about the Regirock that he grabbed later on. Thwackey in there is decent for terrain control, gets Fake Out. Rotom Heat's a really good Pokemon, just straight up kills Venusaur, Ninetales, and Lilycole with safety goggles. Really, really nice pick for if he's playing against these people. Escavalier, Riolu, Vikavolt to round things out. Like, Escavalier and Vikavolt, now at this point, I think we're getting to the point where, like, he's a little bit too hard into the Trick Room. He has 4 Trick Room sweepers. And, like, yeah, Pheromosa has Speed Swap, but, like, it's too many. Like, you want a little bit more variety, I think. Riolu is interesting here. Gives you, like, Copycat Trick Room, but again, like, it doesn't get Fake Tears, so it can't really be the best use for that with the Hatterene. Would have been really nice to stack Attacka, but there is no stack Attacka on this team. It's a decent team. I think it's a decent team. I'm going to put it at, like... I mean, Didi Hadarini is really good. We're going to put it below Sierra Dawn. Jam is my week 1 opponent. I'm playing him tonight, or when you're seeing this video, I will have played him yesterday. Keep an eye out for that post-game review video coming up soon. He starts off incredibly strong with Urshifu Thunderous, which is a really good meta lead. Like, that's a good lead. He's got Gastron, which is, like, nice to have. He's got Double Genie, so, like, Tornadus comes in for, like, Prankster Tailwind. That's good. Everything else is a little weird. Like, Alcremie's not very good. Alola Marowak is a good Pokemon, but not so much with this team. Sylveon is good, but again, not so much with this team. Morpeko seems weird. Diggersby can be good, but, like, not amazing. And then Lycanroc Midday is, like, okay, I guess, for a tier 4. So, this is one of those teams that kind of started strong and fell apart. You have to respect Urshifu Thunderous with Double Genie. Like, this is the core of this 11. Like, the Double Genie and Urshifu. Everything else is, like, kind of okay to deal with. I don't think this team is insanely strong, but that 3 does have to be respected. Enough so that it earns B tier with this. Bottom of B tier. I'm expecting to win against this. Maybe I'll look like an idiot when this video comes out. We'll see. Cortex comes in with the Amoonguss, Galarian, Moltres, which is a strong start. Mimikyu, Gigalith, Milotic, Togedemaru, Gallade. Huh. Gallade is an interesting thing because he gets beat up on Mimikyu and justified on Gallade. That's kind of interesting. Heatran, Scrafty, Jellicent, Stoutland. This team does, like, it's another one of those sort of response teams, right? You have a lot of responses to potential teams here, which is nice. But it doesn't really have its own mode. Like, beat up Gallade is really unreliable. It's not fast enough to make it work that well, and neither is Mimikyu to get the beat up off reliably. I mean, it does have Disguise, but, like, I don't know about that. It has a lot of stuff that works out really well for it, though. You've got the Intimidate on Stoutland, just the pure bulk with Strength Sap on Jellicent, another Intimidator with Scrafty. Heatran is a good answer to a lot of meta Pokemon. Togedemaru for Fake Out Pressure, I guess. Milotic is a really good wall. Amoonguss is just always good to have. Galarian Moltres is a good, just general sweeper. So, like, it's a good team. It just doesn't have, like, an identity. It's more of one of those counterpick teams, which isn't bad at all. We'll see how he does with it. This could go either way. This team depends entirely on how good a player Cortex is. But we're going to put it in the A tier. We talked about how Trigger has a team that does one thing very well. The same is true for Colding Light, really. Colding Light's team does hyper offense very well and not much else. And it's another one of those that kind of fell apart at the end, in my opinion, draft-wise. You look at the start. This is unreal. Minus Rotom Fan, this is unreal. You've got Venusaur with Sun. You've got Whimsicott for Tailwind that can beat up the Terrakion. You've got the option for Pledge moves with Venusaur Blastoise. Sableye is one of the most annoying Prankster mons to deal with. And Darmanitan and Tailwind is insane. This is unreal. And then all 4 of these Pokemon are completely useless. Like, Klefki wouldn't be, but you already have Sableye, which is a better Prankster user. So, like, there is a situation where you bring Klefki instead, but, like, you're playing hyper offense. So, like, the main thing Klefki gets over Sableye is screens. Why do you want screens on this team? So, yeah, it's a weird one. But, like, this 7 or this 6, it's 7, right? Yeah, this 7 has to be respected so much that, like, it earns itself an S tier spot, I think. The problem is it's easy. I think it ends itself an A tier spot. Do I like it more than the Dragapult, Colossal, Kabalion core? No, I think this is an S tier pick, to be honest. This is a really good team. I think that's the best team that we've done so far. It might be the best one. Yeah, I think this is the best team in the league. Really good draft by Colding Light. But problem is, if you run into somebody who has a really good answer to hyper offense, then you're fucked. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes for him. I think it's a really scary team, though. Scaliga, Rillaboom, Porygon 2, Tapu Lele, Mudsdale, Alakazam, Umbreon, Passimian, Primarina, Chandelure, Arctozolt, Aurorus. So Passimian is kind of eh. Aurorus is eh, but he needed a Snow Warning Pokemon for Arctozolt's Slush Rush. It's not that fast a Pokemon, but with Slush Rush, it outspeeds everything in the meta, unless you have Tailwind, so it's pretty okay. Problem is you're forced to bring Aurorus, which is kind of just a waste of space. I don't really understand Chandelure here. Rillaboom's really good, Porygon 2's all around. Tapu Lele. So he's got multiple options for terrain. And Alakazam Lele is going to be an explosive psychic duo. The problem is that's really easy to answer. Like, all of this seems really easy to answer for me. I don't think Scaliga's team is very good. It has a lot of individual Pokemon that do certain things well, but there's no synergy that I can really see. Except for, like, you know, Alakazam, Tapu Lele. But then, like, that team just gets, like, bopped by just, like, you know, like, decent dark types. Like, Fairy is super effective against them, sure, but, like, you know, you can wall this pretty easily. Tapu Lele, Alakazam. So I'm not really that worried about that. Scaliga goes below Borgie. Saiyan Bush, Zapdos, Kanto, Kartana. Good start. Mamoswine, good. Suicune, good. Mienshao, good. This is a scary team. Stakataka. On this team? There's nothing to set Trick Room for it. It has to... I guess Yuxi. I like Kangaskhan a lot. Zoroark is, like, not a good Pokemon, but, like, it's good if you want to just, like, mess with your opponent's brains. It's gonna be really fucking annoying to prepare for his opponents. Credilli gives you Storm Drain. That's pretty good. I like this team a lot. I think this is an S tier team. This is a really good team. It's another one of those that's, like, a lot of, like, answers to things, but there are things that have inherent synergy, right? So, I think there's, like, some things on this team that can work really nicely. It's, like, really, really cool. Even, like, maxing Kartana and then just, like, coaching with Mienshao, like, that could be even like, a pretty scary meme. There's some shit on this team that's, like, really good. Really, really good. I put it below Jin, I think, but it is an S tier team for me. Chunky Owl comes in with the Lando T Cinderace lead. Very, very solid. Shocks me that Cinderace went this late. Alola Ninetales coming in third. Okay. Raikou, good. Dragalge. Then we get into this weird area where, like, yeah, he has Trick Room with Reuniclus. But, like, again, this is the same thing as I talked about yesterday. Dragalge really wants Weakness Policy to be good. And Reuniclus is a Trick Room setter that can't give it that. I mean, like, I guess it could with a Psychic type move, right? But you want Bulldoze, ideally, on that Dragalge. And Reuniclus does not get Bulldoze, I don't think. I'd be very surprised if it did. No, it does not. I guess, like, you could use a really weak Psychic move on it, but, like, even, like, Confusion is the weakest one, right? And, like, what if you confuse yourself? Like, that's not great. So, I'm not a fan of the Trick Room mode on this team, but Lando T Cinderace is really, really good. You get Aurora Veil with Alola Ninetales, you get really good support with Raikou, or an offensive option. Butterfree is really good in Draft League. Urshifu Rapid Strike's okay. Tapu Bulu's okay, I guess. This is an A tier team. I like this team a lot. We're gonna put it below Cortex. And finally, we have Trent Stay Shiny to round it out. Starting strong with the Dusclops T-Tar, and then kind of going nowhere. Ditto as a third pick was... I told him that I didn't like this. I told him if he proves me wrong, that's awesome, right? But, like, why? What's it gonna do? What a terrible third pick. Salamence is okay, I guess. It gets you Intimidate, which he's missing otherwise. Galar Weezing is a very good pick. Duraludon is okay. Aegislash is kind of bad. Celesteela is okay. It's a good Pokemon, but, like, for this team, I don't really know. Toxapex, Maractus, Gengar. I don't think this team is very good. No disrespect to Trent Stay Shiny or to Peninsula Cat earlier. I just don't think this draft is very good. We're going to put this at the bottom of C tier. There is, like, a little bit that he can do, like, with, like, you know, Trick Room Bulldoze, Weakness Policy memes on T-Tar. But, like, other than that, I really don't see anything he can do with this team. I think he's going to have a little bit of issues. He didn't even spend all his points. He has 50 points unspent, and he went in for Toxapex as his last pick. Why? He could have bought anything up through tier A. So, like, he could have had some of these Pokemon instead of... Like, Scizor instead of Toxapex. Already much better. Like, Swampert. Like, why Toxapex? Dragonite's in there, which isn't good, but, like, Barraskewda's better. Like, I don't know. That's a weird pick. Like, even anything in B tier. Like, there's so much shit in B tier that's better than it. I don't know, man. Anyway, that does it for the tier listing. The best team in the league, in my opinion, Colding Light. S tier, myself, Colding Light, Jin Fury, and Saiyan Bush. A tier, Quality, Easy Parisi, Cortex, Chunky Owl. B tier, Triggered, Gerardo, Sierra Dawn, BC Zero Jam. C tier, Michael, Borgie, Scaliga, Trent Stay Shiny. And D tier, Peninsula Cat. Now, the fun part. The 10 worst drafts of this division. If you remember from yesterday's video, this is not based on how good or bad the Pokemon is, only it's based on how good the Pokemon is, how well it fits into the team, and when it was drafted. So, for example, Borgie drafted Rhyperior here. Rhyperior is a decent Pokemon. I don't think it should have been drafted third. I think it would have dropped, right? That's an example. It's a, you know, a rushed example. There's better ones, but I don't want to spoil anything on the list, yo. So, kicking things off, let's go. Number 10, Dragalge by Chunky Owl. I talked about this just a couple minutes ago. I don't see how it works with this team. At the point where it was drafted, he could have waited a little bit, but more importantly, there were a lot better options available from that tier. I don't know why he picked Dragalge here. It doesn't fit with anything that's on the team already. It forces him to go into a Trick Room kind of thing, right? So, like, if he picked Dragalge after Reuniclus, it makes more sense. But after picking Dragalge, he's now forced to build a Trick Room mode around a Pokemon that he really doesn't want to have to build a Trick Room mode around with this kind of setup. This is kind of where his pick, where his draft goes south for me. I really don't like the Dragalge pick. Number 9 that comes in, I'm a little torn on where to put this one, but the number 9 one, it has to be on the list, is Braviary by Gerardo, which I know is going to be a controversial one. But Braviary is Braviary as a Pokemon exists predominantly to be a deterrent to Intimidators, right? It can set Tailwind, which is nice, but it's not super fast, so it's not the best Tailwind setter. So, when you run Braviary, you're running it for Defiant, okay? Now let's take a look at the rest of his team. Let's go through from the bottom. Special Attacker, Support / Special Attacker, Special Attacker, Special Attacker, Special Attacker, Support, but even if it's attacking, it has Inner Focus and is immune to Intimidate. Special Attacker, Inner Focus is immune to Intimidate. Special Attacker, Clear Body is immune to Intimidate. Do you see the point? There is literally nothing on this team that benefits from Braviary being there. Unless it's setting Tailwind, in which case it's not the best Tailwind setter. And it's a tier 1 or a tier 2 pick. This is an expensive pick for him. Awful pick in my opinion. Almost any team could make use of Braviary in some small capacity at the very least. Except this one. I don't understand this pick at all. Now, the only saving grace for Braviary is that since other teams could use it, there's a decent chance that he's able to trade it away to somebody who's facing like an Intimidate heavy team like Jin Fury or something. Like Jin Fury has double Intim, right? So like if somebody's fighting against Jin Fury and they want Braviary for double Intim, cool, they might be able to give him a good Pokemon for it. But like, bad draft, bad draft. At number 8, we have Slowbro by Peninsula Cat. This one is a weird one for me because like, I could be wrong, but like, normal Slowbro is not a good Pokemon. Like, it's not used at all. It's just, why would you draft normal Slowbro? I just don't understand. Galarian Slowbro was available at this point, I believe. I don't even think Galarian Slowbro was drafted. Okay, it was drafted. But, okay, no, it wasn't available. But still, like, this is not a good Pokemon. I don't understand this pick. Is he using it as a Trick Room setter? I guess he has to be, right? Because there is no, I mean, it's a bad Trick Room setter, though. Ah, man, I don't like this pick. I don't like this pick from Peninsula Cat. I might be wrong about this one, but I don't like this one. At number 7, we're bringing in Porygon from Sierra Dawn. I just still don't understand what this is supposed to do, right? Like, the only thing I can think of for this thing to do is spam Ally Switch, and there's better Pokemon to do that. It could set Trick Room, but again, I talked about this when we were rating our team. For what? I don't like this Pokemon at all. I think this thing has, like, no job on the team. It doesn't fit in at all, and it's just not a very good Pokemon. So Porygon comes in at number 7. At number 6, we have Chansey by Triggered. This is kind of where his draft started to fall apart. Chansey is such a bad draft because not only is Chansey Shuckle not a good team, But by drafting Chansey, you're now forcing yourself to pick Shuckle. So it's like this pick is a 2 for the price of 1, kinda. And it's so bad. Like, Cottonee, I was considering Cottonee, but Chansey came so early as well. Like, oh, God. I think this is a terrible pick. Like, Chansey Shuckle is not a strategy that should ever work in Draft League. If you have Perish Song, it auto-wins. If you have Toxic, it auto-wins. If you have something that sets up, and then, like I don't know, like, if you have, like, Swords Dance or whatever, you just, like, Swords Dance to +6, and then you Dynamax and ignore the minimize boosts. Like, there's so many things you can do against this if you have 11 Pokemon to pick from, even for some of these weaker teams. So I don't really see any way that this finds any wins. Alright, at number 5, as much as I love Jin Fury's team, Kommo-o comes in. And the reason for this is that Kommo-o... Like, here's the problem with Kommo-o, right? You have to get, like, Clangorous Soul up in order for it to sweep well. But, like, it's double weak to Fairy, and a lot of teams are going to get a lot of Pokemon that get Fairy coverage moves. I really don't think this thing is very strong. Like, it's so hard to make this work at all. I really don't think that this is going to end up doing him any favors. But maybe I'm wrong. This is one that I could definitely see myself being proven wrong on. This is actually really, really hard. There's a lot less picks in this division that are just, like, explicitly bad, I feel like. But yeah, this is a bit of a weird one for me. I don't understand the Kommo-o too much. Alright, at number 4, we have Chandelure coming in from Scaliga. This one is mostly because I don't see what it does on the team, and it's expensive. It's a tier 2 pick. This thing cost him 75 points. And, like, he's got a Trick Room setter with Porygon 2. A very reliable Trick Room setter. So, what's the purpose of the Chandelure? Like, I guess you can imprison Trick Room if you don't want to be in a Trick Room position, like running, like, fast Mons like Alakazam, I guess. But if you're running, like, Alakazam, Lele, Chandelure, that's 3 Ghost Weak Pokemon. That's a little bit yikes as well. Shandy is, like, it's a weird one. I really like Chandelure as a Pokemon, but it's just not that good. It has really strong special attack, right? So, like, I guess if you Scarf the Shandy, you can do, like, really good damage with Heat Wave or whatever, but it's just too frail to or not, like, I mean, like, it is kind of frail. 60 base HP, like, it's, I don't know. This one just, like, strikes me as very weird. It cost him a lot of points, and I don't really see how it works with the rest of the team. Maybe he makes Shandy work, though. I can see it working. I just don't really understand it with this team at all, or for the cost. I have talked a lot about how good I think Colding Light's team is. I've even included Blastoise in, like, the list of things that look really scary. But I am going to put Blastoise as the 3rd worst pick. The reason for that is, A, when it was drafted. He could have picked Ninetales earlier, for example. Like, he could have done a lot of things. The main thing is, of all of the 7 scary Mons, when does he bring Blastoise? Like, really, though, when does he bring Blastoise? The main thing with Blastoise is that you want to get Shell Smash up. He has no redirection on this team. It's the one Pokemon that he can't really enable. So, he can't get Shell Smash Blastoise out. If he wants residual damage from G-Max Cannonade, he might as well just run Venusaur. If he's running Sun, he can't bring Blastoise anyway. Like, Blastoise for me is a really weird pick for Colding. He recovered really well with the Ninetales Sableye Darmanitan following that, but, like, what a weird pick for this. Initially, it looked like he was going to try to do some Pledge memes, but, like, even there, right? Pledge memes with Blastoise Venusaur, not great, because neither of them is super fast. So it's pretty easy for the opposing trainer to kill one of them before they get the Pledge move off. I don't know, dude. I don't think this is a good pick. I still think Colding is the strongest team in the league, but I don't think the Blastoise is a good pick. Alright, here at rank number 2, I'm deciding to put Shedinja. The reason for this is that Shedinja, A, is a bad Pokemon. It has 2 roles, to click Ally Switch, and to enable weakness policies with Shadow Sneak. Unless Borgie is planning on running weakness policy Bronzong or Cresselia, both of which sound very underwhelming, it can't really do the first, or the Shadow Sneaking. So what's it gonna do? Like, I look at this Shedinja and I just think to myself, if you go up against a Shedinja, the first thing in your brain is it's gonna Ally Switch. Like, it's not a surprise Ally Switch on, like, a Pokemon like Dusclops or, like, Porygon 2, where it's like, you know it could have Ally Switch. but it also like has like 7 other moves that it can run. So you know it has ally switch, and you know ally switch is in the first slot. So like I don't really understand what the purpose of the Shedinja is for Borgi. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I will say, as a caveat, I've been having trouble finding some for the last 2 or 3 because there really aren't that many really bad picks in this league. But Shedinja is what I'm picking for this one, going into the undisputed top worst pick. I'm sorry, Trent. It's Ditto. Because why on God's green earth did you draft Ditto 3rd? Nobody was gonna pick Ditto. If you really wanted Ditto as your tier 4 pick, draft it here. There's nothing stopping you. You wasted so many good A tier Pokemon to get Ditto, which is bad anyway. Oh no. Oh, Trent. Oh, feels bad, man, for me. Ditto wins the crown for the absolute worst draft in the Kanto division. All the way down to Dragalge. We can see Dragalge, Braviary, Slowbro, Porygon, Chansey, Kommo-o, Chandelure, Blastoise, Shedinja, Ditto. That's my ranking for the worst 10 drafts. If you guys enjoyed this video, please keep an eye out for my review of my first week match against Jam. It's going to be coming up soon. And yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Drop a subscribe if you want to see more High Roller Draft League content. And come by the stream where I'm going to be playing all of my games live. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.